Hello, hello, hello. This is going to be fun or not. I'm not sure if this is going to work or if any of this is going to get claimed by Concord Music. I'm not really sure. But we are looking at the various iterations of the Lamb. Show my credentials. So what we got here, go to the screen, is at the very top we have the I think it's 1985 CD edition, or the original. Then underneath we have the 1994 remaster. Then it's the 2008 Lamb remix. Again, that thing's its own thing. It shouldn't really be in this because it's a remix. It's a different thing. It's going to sound different. Then we have, I think it was 2024, the Analog Productions SACD hybrid, and at the bottom the 2025 version, the newest one. That's from the digital download. It's the download edition, but I imagine it's the same files that made the CD. So all these are ripped from the original sources, and that's where we're at. Just looking at the WAV files, we can see that well, we'll start at the top here. Here you can see there's more definition. You can see, compared to the very top one, there's a little bit more definition. Certain peaks, again, I don't know if you can see my little arrow, compared to the other one. So that will indicate there is some crispness going on. The 2008, you can see it's the wave file is very thick, very dense. That means it's loud. Not so much definition. It's just there's a lot of compression. A lot of the peaks are squished. You know, you want some air. It's interesting because the very first one is quite loud compared to the 94 one. It's quite interesting. It's funny how these things are. And then 2024 Analog Productions one is very similar to the 94. Very similar there. And the last one, again, thicker WAV files. Means it's louder. Lacks some of the definition of the Analog Productions. It's more akin to the first one, but it's very much its own thing. You know, it doesn't bear a lot of relim. Again, I'm looking at this. There's a section here that we should concentrate on because it goes from a loud piece into a quiet piece, and there's some high frequencies. There's some chimes playing, and that's what you get. And that's that bit I tend to concentrate on because you got a lot of frequency happening there, and you get a good idea. So yeah, so as you can see, they're all different, and I've also had to line them up differently. Some of these start earlier. The very first one, actually, I think it misses a little bit of running. So yeah, you can see at the edge of the screen. Oh god, I don't know if I've got it full. Ooh. Why you do that? Why you do that, Mr. Thing? I just move that over. Yeah, you can see it's missing a little bit at the front there. So that's what they look like. Now we're going to play it. This is where it's going to get a little bit bumpy. I don't know why I'm saying this because I could end up uploading it getting passed, and then a few months down the line it getting partially claimed. So if there's any silent bits, that's where the band of or bits that disappear, it's where I've edited post the fact. Okay, so please don't complain. Also, I shan't be making any money out of this video, so it's going to be long meandering, and I'm basically doing this for free. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. Subscribe, but more importantly, either join. There's a join button down there somewhere. You can join the club. There's not much benefit other than you throw a few pennies into the hat, and that helps me buy stuff like overly expensive Genesis box sets, because hey, the YouTube money isn't good anymore, not for the likes of me. Or if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to give me any money, go and watch one of my other videos, and with the adverts on. In fact, watch a couple of my videos, maybe watch a couple of Genesis videos that I've talked about the band, and pay it back that way. Because what you see there, you see all these WAV files, that's money spent. That's money spent. I spent it. Look, you can see. Look, I've got them behind me, right? I've got them behind me. So that one there, that's the 85 edition in the big box one. That one there, that's the Japanese 94 one. That's the 2008 one, the remix, and that's the Analog Productions one. You can't see the other one because it was a download code from the box. But that's an idea. These all exist physically in my house, and that's where the sources are from. So if anyone gets clever in the, gets funny in the comments, hey, I'm flexing. So here we go. We're going to have a listen. I'm going to put the headphones of shame on. We're going to have a little listen to the various tracks. I'm going to do it for the first track, The Lamb, and I'm going to be picking on certain bits. There's a bit, like I said, there's a bit in the middle where there's a chime part that sweeps across, and I think it's a good indicator of definition, because it's audible, more audible in certain parts than the other. Again, the 2008 one is a remix, so I'm only playing that just to show you what that sounds like. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it. I prefer, the 5.1 I don't mind. Stereo one, just turn it down. It's a bit in your face, but that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to then possibly look at Back in New York City and Carpet Crawlers, because that's a kind of a quiet one, if you know what I mean. And we'll leave it at that, because otherwise we're going to be here. I don't know how long this is going to take. It's going to take forever. I've already taken too long. I've already taken 7 minutes just introducing it. Oh, Darren, why'd you talk so much? Headphones are on. So we'll start with the very first one. We'll start with the intro. I think you'll agree. That sounds okay. Now we're going to go to the 94 one. And again, this one I always thought this was a lot clearer, because I kind of wiped a layer of grime off of it. So let's see how that compares. I think that's a good one. That's a good one. Now the next one is the 2008 edition. This is going to sound very different because it was completely remixed. Okay, so that's quite abrasive. You can see what they've done there. They've gone for lots of high frequency. They've gone for all the frequencies. There's some would say too much detail. You know, it's interesting. It wouldn't be my preferred. It wouldn't be my preferred one to listen to on headphones. I'm always going to go for the 94 one, but I'm a fan of the 5.1 remix, so I can understand why people don't like that one. Now I'm going for the analog productions. This was out the other year. It's an SACD hybrid, so you got like a regular stereo CD and stereo SACD layer. This was ripped from the SACD layer. All right. I don't know if that means anything. I didn't take it from the CD layer. I actually ripped the SACD, and that's, you know, that's complicated to do. I went down a whole rabbit hole, and I had to buy a certain Blu-ray player just so I could rip it just to do this. You guys don't love me enough. I do all this for you, you know. Anyway, let's have a listen. Yeah, it's more akin to the 94 remastered one. A little bit more bass in the bottom end. I find it a bit stodgy. Again, when playing it loud as well, it sounds just a little bit off. It put me off at this one. Not a fan of it. I think the 94 one is more balanced. This one goes, like I say, down the deep end, more down the deep end. And as a bass player, I usually enjoy that, but I find this a little bit discombobulating. So I'm not a fan of it. Also, very expensive, unnecessarily expensive, I think. But that's a separate thing. And now we've got the new 2025 remaster, where this is taken from the 74 stereo master again, like the 94 one. Yeah, we'll see how this one compares. It's going to be a bit louder. Again, it's more akin to the, I think it's more akin to the Analog Productions one from 24. It's there's a lot of bass end in it, and very dense, very dense. It doesn't have the airiness of the 1994 master. Again, this is all down to your preference. It's all down to your preference, but personally, 1994 one I think has more balance so far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move it along a bit and listen to some of the actual the verses and choruses of the song, so we can get an indication. So we start with the original. Sleeping cheaply on the midnight show. It's okay. Again, I still think it's just a little bit lacking. So let's see what the 94 one sounds like.
It seems they cannot leave their dream. There's something moving in the sidewalk, Steve. And the night lies down on Broadway.
I think that has really good separation. I think everything is balanced. Nothing's overwhelming the mix. Again, the 94, it's still a good one for me. 2008, boy, this is going to just knock your socks off. All right, so pin your luggos back, especially if you're listening on headphones. This is going to be intense.
It seems they cannot leave their dream. There's something moving in the sidewalk, Steve. And the night lies down on Broadway.
Like I said, it's intense. I wouldn't play it that loud normally. I'd turn it down. You know, there's a volume on my hi-fi, but this is how it's come out of the disc. We've put it into Logic as they were ripped. So that's the loudness on the CD, if you know what I mean. That's the way it was put there. That was the way it was mastered. It's mastered loud. It's hot. It's a hot one, you know, and compressed by looks of it as well. But you still do have some peaks to it. But you can hear how intense it is. Now we do the 2024 analog productions.
It seems they cannot leave their dream. There's something moving in the sidewalk, Steve. And the night lies down on Broadway.
I find that just so heavily so focused on the bass. It's just the bass playing is, don't get me wrong, if I wanted to sit and just focus on the bass playing, this is the version I'd listen to, you know, but I don't think it's as balanced as the 94 one. Again, we can't really compare it to 2008 because that's a different thing. We're just showing that. But yeah, the Analog Productions one is really unbalanced. You don't hear, again, a lot of the focus from the left channel is lost because you've got Rutherford's bass just dominating everything, and there's quite a bit of separation on the, I guess it'd be the keyboards on that channel. It's quite separate, so my focus is slightly askew. It doesn't feel, to me, it doesn't feel like it's a rounded stereo production. It feels like it's a little bit cockeyed to the right with the bass just hammering it home. You know, but if you want to listen to it a little bit differently, that's fine. Now we've got the new one. This is going to be loud again. So, because again, that's how they've done it. And let's have a listen.
This is now undone. The old night watchman have air from sleeping cheaply on the midnight show. It's the same old ending. Time to go get out. It seems they cannot leave their dream. There's something moving in the sidewalk, Steve. And the night lies down on Broadway.
Again, it's doing everything. You can really hear the bass drum kicking. The bass guitar itself is really at the forefront, and those cymbals are splashy. If you want something that's a bit more bright and a again, they're trying to do everything all at once with this one. But it is more akin to the 2024 Master. But for me, I'm still going to prefer the 94 because you can always turn that up. You know what I'm saying? You can always turn it up if you need more volume. Now, the bit I like to concentrate on is this section here where you hear a chime being struck. And, well, you're going to hear how different it sounds over the different versions. So here we go.
Lies down
Here it comes.
on Broadway. The lamb seems right out of place with the Broadway street scene. Finds a focus in its face.
You can hear the chime being played, but it's a bit lost, it's a bit muddy. Let's see how the 1994 version plays out.
Lies down on Broadway. The lamb seems right out of place with the Broadway street scene. Finds a focus in its face. Somehow it's lying there, brings a stillness.
To me, that feels more balanced. You get all the detail. Again, this is all a subjective thing. This is how my ears process that. I think that sounds the better version already. Now again, this is going to be overly loud for the 2008 because I completely remixed it. So pin your logos back.
Lies down on Broadway. The lamb seems right out of place. The Broadway street scene finds a focus in its face.
Again, that's overbearing, but what you do get is the Phil Collins backing vocal when he says Broadway. It extends a bit further into the mix. So again, there's more little details for you to focus on here. That's why it's a good alternative, but listen to it with the volume down. Now we're doing the Analog Productions one.
Lies down on Broadway. The lamb seems right out of place with the Broadway street scene. Finds a focus in its face.
Yeah, it's all right. But again, I find the bass just a little bit domineering. You might like it. Right? This is just my preference. I'm still sticking to the 94 one. And finally the new version from 2025.
Lies down on Broadway. The lamb seems right out of place with the Broadway street scene. Finds a focus in its face.
Again, it feels more like a louder version of the 2024 edition. So yeah, what shall we do next? Should we do the bit at the end? Should we do just play? We'll do the play out. And we'll see how that sounds. So that was the 85. This is the 94. Sounds tighter, punchier. It's still my favourite version. It sounds punchier. Just again, just a matter of balance more than anything else. This is again going to be loud because it's the 2008 one. You see on that mix, you can tell they wanted you to hear everything, and so they pushed everything to the front. They just went, "You're going to hear everything," and when you do that, it ends up just you don't hear it. You don't hear all of it because you just become overwhelmed by all that frequency and all that volume and all that detail. You can put too much detail in. That's the thing about mixing things. It's knowing when to hold back and when to move things in and out of the stereo field. They're just saying have it all, and I wonder if it was like kind of if they'd done the 5.1 and then this was kind of a byproduct of the 5.1 mixdown, because it sounds like they've just pushed everything up and then done a stereo mixdown of it. Now on to the 2024 analog productions. Again, Rutherford's bass is just so prominent, I find it a little bit discombobulating. If that was down a smidge, if it was just down, if that was just a little bit lighter, that would be a good version. But it's just too overwhelming. And now the 2025 one. So there you have it. That's the first track, The Lamb. Again, all audio, well, all our senses are subjective, whether it's our sight, smell, taste, vision, touch. It's all subjective. The human experience is a subjective thing. My personal favourite will always be the 1994 one. I think it just makes a really good balanced mix, a really good balanced version of it. I can see why people like the analog productions version, because it's different, but the bass is just too overwhelming. It just takes your focus away from everything else that's going on. And again, the issue with the 2008 one, it's a remix. It shouldn't even be in this competition. It's too loud, and so is the 2025 one. It's too overwhelming. It's just too loud, I think, But it does sound good on vinyl. I'll give it that. It does sound good on vinyl. So yeah, I've got to load some more files in. So there will now be an edit. Maybe there'll be a message from our sponsor. Who knows? We haven't got a sponsor, but yeah, you get the idea. So now we turn our attention to Back in New York City. I've chosen this because it's a very dynamic piece of music. Again, it's a bit of a hard hitting one. I think this will be a good example to use for our little test. It's not scientific, mind. This is not scientific at all. So as we look at the waveforms again, you can see that the 2008 dominates. It's very loud. It's going to be loud. But very interesting is the 1985 version is quite loud too, compared to the 1994 edition. So that's going to be interesting. But what's really interesting is comes at the end. So when you scroll to the end, you're thinking, oh, you can see that they all end, well, not all of them, but three of them end at the same end point. But 1994's, there's been a mastering error. It cuts off. It goes into Hairless Heart earlier than it should have done. It's still playing back in New York City. Again, this is why, as a Genesis fan, they never quite get it right. There's always an issue here. And again, with the new 2025 one, that ends at a different endpoint. We'll look at this when we get. I'm just showing this, so we'll look at it as we get towards each one. But both the 85, 2008, and 2024 Analog Productions versions, they all end at the same endpoint, and so that just goes to show that as a Genesis fan, you're never getting it right. You're never going to get the perfect version again, and they'll start at different start points too, so I had to line them up. So we'll start with the 1985 edition, the very first CD version. You can hear some hum there. Sounds okay, but there's very noticeable hum at the very beginning of the track, so we'll have to see if that's replicated on the others. So this is the 1994 remaster. The hum is gone. Punchier. Again, this is my favourite mix or favourite master. The hum has gone. It seems a lot clearer, a lot punchier, very balanced. We're going into the 2008 one. That is going to be loud. It's going to be loud and abrasive. Just look how compressed it all is. Look at the peaks. Just look at the peaks on the waveform. They're pushing it. This is going to be so loud. So prepare yourself.
Faces and traces of home back in New York City. So you think I'm a tough kid? Is that what you heard?
On headphones, that's unlistenable. It's just so loud and so overbearing. It's unbearable to listen to. Like I say, it's not a favourite of mine, but I like the 5.1 mix. When I say I like the 2008 remixes, I'm talking solely about the surround sound, okay? Some of these stereo mixes from that period, they're just too abrasive. Now we go to the Analog Productions one. Let's see if they've got the hum that we had in the 1985 one. Okay, let's have a look. I don't think it has, but we can listen together.
I see faces and traces of home back in New York City.
It's all right. It's again the bass is dominating, and I don't know. I don't find it as engaging as the '94 one. It's all right. I'm not again. When I listen to it out on stereo without the headphones, it always sounds a bit odd to me. I don't know if there's a phase thing going on or whatever. It just doesn't sound right. It could be that it's just because the bass is just so overwhelming. But it hasn't got the hum. 2025, the new one. A longer fade in. Some notable hiss. Again, it's loud, the bass is overwhelming, but I think it's more balanced than the Analog Productions one. But again, we've still got a loudness, very loud. It's a very loud, mix of it. So where's the chorus? I'm trying to identify the chorus. Would that be about here? So that's the 85 version. There's a very prominent tambourine on the left channel. So let's see if we can hear that again. It's not as loud. Now that's interesting because the 85 version is very loud. That stop when it comes back in. So I'm just going back to the 85 one. That's really loud. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that interesting? Anyway, 2008 is going to be unlistenable. So I don't like this bit. Oh, it's just too much. That's always too much. I shouldn't have included it. People are going to... 2024. Oh, this one's quite lower. Now that's surprising. The 2024 one is really quite subdued compared to the other ones. You'd expect that, like, the bass end to be a bit more prominent there, but it isn't. That's weird. Oh, that's not what I would have expected. But that's why we're testing this track, you see, because there's a lot of dynamics going on. And this is the new 25 one. See, that could be good if it was a little quieter. If it wasn't so loud, that would be all right. But, oh, that's funny because I kind of like the 1985 version over the 94 there because it's got a little bit more going for it. the 94 one's too quiet. Funny enough, the 2024 and the 94 one, very similar. The 1985 one, there's a little bit more punch to it. Who'd have thunk it? I did not. Again, you could. This is a rabbit hole. Now I'm going to look at the end, because they all end differently. The 94 edition just ends too soon and goes into Hairless Heart. Whilst again, if you were skipping it, it's days of CDs and your Walkman or whatever. If you were jumping ahead to listen to Hairless Heart, you'd have a fragment of Back in New York City play before you hit to that, because they've chapter marked it too soon, if you know what I mean. They've put the chapter marker or the song marker too soon when they come to master the actual CD, when they come to program the CD. So we'll do the 85 one first. You see, I would have put the chapter mark there, right there, because that little bit there is actually Hairless Heart starting. So they've all got it wrong, in my opinion. But yeah, if you've got if you haven't got the 85 edition, you've got the 94 one. You're listening to it and you're going, "Oh, I love this. I love the way this ends." And then it just ends. But there was some very interesting, separation there on the drums, which I like. I think that's good. Oh God, here we go. 2008 again. Oh, this is going to be painful. Too loud, man. Too loud. That sounds like utter dog shit. I'm sorry. One, it's too loud, but on the little acoustic bit of guitar that you get that introduces Hairless Heart here, you can't hear it. It doesn't sound like an acoustic guitar at all. It just sounds... There's so much kind of weird modulation things going on. It just doesn't even sound like a guitar. So, ugh. Now we have the Analog Productions version. Good separation on the drums there. That's all right. That's okay. And then we have the new version. Again, it's going to be loud. And that is where it should end. The 2025, the one thing it has got going for it is Hairless Heart starts where it should start on the track, whereas all the others get it wrong. But in terms of actual mix, for me, I think the 1985 one wins. But again, you can hear with the 2025 one, because it is so loud, there's some really good drum separation where you hear the drums go doom 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 doom. But because the centre channel is so loud, you can't get that separation. You hear it quite well on the 85 one. 2024 one's okay, 1994 one's okay, but it's most prominent on the 85 one, I believe. Let me just double check that. Because again, I can't believe the 85 one is doing so well. Yeah. The separation is better on there. Listen, we'll do it again. Listen. So 85 wins that one. In my opinion. You may have other opinions, and that's fine. We can all be right and we can all be wrong. That's the great thing about opinions. Opinions aren't facts, but my opinion is presented as fact purely for comedy potential, marked by sign. But anyway, so yeah, that was back in New York City. A bit of a mixed bag, really. Again, it's a very dynamic track. There's a lot going on there. There's an awful lot of effects. I think Eno might be on this one. There might be some Eno stuff flying around on the vocals, on the porcupine bit. So it's a very busy track for Genesis. Very dynamic, very hard hitting. The 2008 one is just unlistenable. That's just the worst. It really is. But it's not really about that. It's about these other ones that are remasters of the 74 tapes. But yeah, 85 wins it. Funny enough, 1994 is a complete crap out because they knock off the end of the song, and 2025 gets bonus points for actually getting the Hell is Heart beginning section marked at the right point. So yeah, odd one that. Now I've got to do another edit. There'll be another word from our sponsor. We ain't got one. But you might get a YouTube advert if I'm lucky. Oh no, you won't, because Genesis/Concord Music would have claimed this for their own, even though I'm doing all the hard work. And we're doing this, and it's all my money that's been spent. They get the money. How's that fair? And anyway, this is actually a critical review of the music, and this should be exempt from copyright claims. But it's not, because that's how YouTube is. And that's why life isn't fair. And that's why I don't normally do this stuff, because I could do a whole YouTube channel dedicated to this stuff. But I'm just asking myself to get into a lot of bother. This might get claimed. I might get a copyright strike. I don't know. That's the mysterious world of the copyright scene when it comes to YouTube. But we're going to get rid of this now, and we're going to move on to Carpet Crawlers. Again, that's a song that's quite mellow. Again, there's some nice bits going on there. It's more about Gable's vocal and the backing vocals, that track. So I'll be back in a minute, because I've got to drag all the files in. So I've loaded in the files for the Carpet Crawlers. We're going to do a similar thing. We're just going to go through them all from 1985 to 2025 and see what's different. So looking at the WAV files, the 85 one, you can see there's some thickness on some of these peaks, which indicates a lack of clarity. They seem a little bit ill-defined. More definition on the 1994 one. 2008 is just completely smushed. The 2024 Analog Productions seems very similar to the 94 one, but I'd say it just lacks a little bit on some of those peaks. They look a little bit smaller. So some frequencies I'm not saying missing, but just been are not there compared to the 94 edition. And again, the 2025 one, it's loud compared to the others. So we'll start with 1985. So we'll start with an 85 one. Oh, did you hear a bit of focus on that? There's a little bit of interference. There's a little bit of noise. Listen. There's a little hum.
The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid.
Okay, but there was noticeable noise at the very beginning of the track.
There is lamb's wool under my naked feet. The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. A salamander scurries into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid.
That one seems it's a little bit more immediate, seems a bit closer. Interesting, because the peaks indicate that the first one's louder, but I don't know, it just seems a bit more intimate. The 2008 one is going to be loud.
There is lamb's wool under my naked feet. The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. A salamander scurries into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid.
Despite its failings, you can hear Gabriel's vocals clearly. He's enunciating. On the other two, when he says heat, you don't hear the T, you know, the is that a velar stop? You don't hear that. You don't hear that because it's kind of buried in the mix. Because that's what happens with frequencies. When you get all these frequencies laid on top of each other, it can obscure the enunciation of the vocal. Whereas in 2001, everything is so EQ'd and loud, you can hear him very, very clearly, like he is shouting into your ears. So that's interesting to hear that. The 2024 one, it looks like it's very, very quiet compared to the other two. So let's have a listen.
There is lamb's wool under my naked feet. The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. A salamander scurries into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid.
That's not bad, actually. I don't mind that one. It's very clear. Very clear. Again, because the bass guitar hasn't come in and swamped it all. And then got the new one from 25.
There is lamb's wool under my naked feet. The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. A salamander scurries into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid.
I don't know. I mean, it's brighter. It sounds a bit abrasive. Again, it's all right, but I don't know. It depends whether you want warm or bright. I think the song starts off warm and should get brighter as it goes along as a mixing choice. I don't know. So we're going to carry on with the track and
People, they want to get into the carpet crawlers, eat their corners. We gotta get him to get out. We gotta get him to get out. We gotta get him to get out. There's only one direction in the faces that I see. It's up.
that's all right. That's all right. Let's see what the 94, that was the 85 one, let's see what the 94 one sounds like. A bit more subdued.
There's only one direction in the faces that I see.
Oh, that's difficult to call, isn't it? Because I quite like the more subdued nature of that one. But there's not much in it between that and the 95 edition. 2008, of course, is going to be loud. Oh. Here we go.
Gotta get in to get out. We gotta get in to get out. We gotta get in to get out. There's only one direction in the faces that I see.
Again, it's all too much. It's all a bit overbearing, that one. Now to the Analog Productions version from 24. Oh, very quiet.
There's only one direction in the faces that I see. It's upward to the ceiling.
That's very quiet, but you do have that kind of rumble. There's a rumble. Again, down the low end, there's something going on there that just puts me off. But I can't call it between 85 and 94 at the moment. Those two are neck and neck. But 2024, I don't know, too quiet. And you've got that weird rumble going on. Let's see how 2025 fares.
There's only one direction in the faces that I see. It's upward to the ceiling where the chambers sit.
You see, that has control of the bottom end. That's... If you want like a really clean version of it, you know, with all the frequencies, I think that one's kind of that's kind of got the best of both worlds. You know, I think again the bass end is well under control. You can still hear the bass, and you've still got all the higher frequencies, and it's a bit louder, but it's not overwhelming. But I imagine as it goes on, it probably does get a little bit too much. Right, back to the back to 85. Now the 94. I think that slightly has the edge over the 85, just slightly. Oh, now the 2008 one. Oh God! I mean, I can't even. The lines are so compressed. I can't even tell where we are in the song. It's just about there, I suppose.
We gotta get in to get out. We gotta get in to get out. The porcelain mannequin with shattered skin fears attack, and the eager back lift up their pictures. They carry all they lack. The liquid has congealed, which has seeped down through the crack, and the tickler takes his stickle back.
Again, it's got all the detail, but it's just too loud and too swamped. It's just too much. But if I could turn it down, I'd probably enjoy it. But I can't turn it down because this is the raw files. This gets you a comparison. But if I turned it down, it'd sound all right. It's just too much.
Gotta get in to get out.
Analog Productions one.
We gotta get in to get out. The porcelain mannequin with shattered skin fears attack, and the eager back lift up their pictures. They carry all they lack. The liquid has congealed, which has seeped out through the crack, and the tickler takes his stickle back.
You see, that one didn't sound too bad. Now, because it's slightly quieter, I think there is a little bit, just a immense. We're talking about tiny amounts of detail. That was more pleasant to listen to on headphones, I think. But again, there's not much in it between that and the 94 version. Oh God, you could literally send yourself insane doing this. I think I have. More insane than usual. And now this is the new version. If I can get it queued. God, it's again, everything's so bloody condensed. Here we go.
We gotta get in to get out. We gotta get in to get out. The porcelain mannequin with shattered skin fears attack, and the eager back lift up their pictures. They carry all they lack. The liquid has congealed, which has seeped out through the crack, and the tickler takes his stickle back.
Again, loud, lots of detail, but probably a little bit overbearing. But you do get all the detail. Okay, now we're going to get to the end section, the fade out, because there might be some stuff in there. Back to 1985. We move through these chronologically. Again, it's got some good balance to it. Again, Phil Collins vocals. Again, there's a good split of vocals. You hear some Phil Collins over here, and then some other backing vocals coming over this side. So there's some good separation. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of detail there. So again, the 1985 one isn't bad. It isn't bad. And now we go to the 94 one. I like the separation on that one, and I like the detail. I think it works. I think that's the one. 2008. Oh God, here we go again. So loud. With that one, you can hear what they were trying to do, though, because they've really separated it and it's really loud. You have the Phil Collins vocal and then Gabriel kind of ping-ponging around, giving it some dynamic sweep to what's going on. So at least with that, you can hear what they were trying to do, but more amplified. Now to the Analog Productions 2024 one. Now that one was interesting because there is even more definition there on the vocals. There's more bits. There's more bits that you can hear that cut through, that are slightly buried with the other mix. Again, you could literally send yourself insane doing this. And this is why there's no definitive best version, because I like the ending from this bit, I like the beginning from that bit, and I like the middle from that. Just see. This is why it's virtually impossible to actually pin this down. Anyway, I'm going to go with the 2025. We're going to end it there and take the headphones off, okay? So this is the 2025 edition, and it sounds like thus. So there we have it. We've had a little looky at the various versions of some of the tracks from The Lamb. There isn't any definitive best version. Again, it's all subjective. It's the one that you prefer. If you've got the 1985 edition, yeah, there are some issues with that. There's some noise issues. There's some muddiness. If you've got the 1994 version, that's clearer, that's cleaner, but they put some of the track markers in the wrong place. Always do it with Broadway Melody of 1974. That's always messed up, always. The 2008 is just loud. 2024, I think, yeah. I mean, again, there's some parts of the 2024 mix I like. But again, there's the whole bass end, the whole bass rumble part of it, just, I don't know, just puts me off. It puts me off. And so that's why I don't, but then there are some details in it that I think do shine through. This is the thing. And the 2025, now again, I've listened to it on vinyl, and I think the vinyl pressing is really good. I think it's really nice. I think, again, because they've brought down the volume. Well, they can't make it too loud on vinyl because the needle will jump out of the groove and run away. So I think the 2025 version has got potential, but it's just a little bit hot compared to the others, compared to 2024, 94, whatever. So it really is 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? I'm always going to favour the 1994 one because I think they did do a good job of cleaning it up and just make it, again, it's just balanced. It's just a much more balanced version. If they'd got the track markers correct, it would be perfect. But again, even with I don't have any issue with the 2025 mix because I've listened to it on vinyl and it sounds really good on vinyl. Just see my problem. So anyway, if you held a gun to me and say what's your favourite, I'm going to say 1994. All right, that's what I'm going to say, with a special mention to 1985 for not being too bad considering it was the very dawn of the CD. 2008 is a no-no. It's too loud, and I just think that's what they were doing with CDs back then, and part of the loudness was. But I wouldn't listen to it that volume. I would have turned it down. I've not turned it down for this because we're listening to everything at the same volume as you would find it on the CD, if you get my meaning, right? So I wouldn't listen to it that loud normally. 2024, again, there are some bits of it that are interesting for me. Again, it's my hearing. I think I'm more attuned to the bottom end. I find the bottom end just a little bit weird, a little bit wobbly. There's some, I don't know if it's a phase issue or something. There's something about it. When I play it out loud on my hi-fi, it just sounds a bit odd, and on headphones it sounds just a little bit overwhelming, right? So I'm not a fan of it. But you do hear some details here and there. You can't completely dismiss it. I feel like I'm sitting on the fence here, and the 2025 one is interesting, but it's just a little bit too hot. Because you've got to remember, the earlier ones were mastered, again, when these records were put out, they were mastered for vinyl, and so they were always a little bit lower, a little bit more subdued. With anything analog, vinyl, cassette, they were always mastered a little bit lower, so you have a bit more top end, a bit more headroom. Sorry, not top end, headroom. So it isn't all overwhelming. And then CD comes along, and people don't worry about headroom, and they just push it and expect you to EQ it at home, and that's not good. That's not good mastering. Ping. Oh, okay. That's not good mastering at all. So, hopefully this has answered some of your questions. Hopefully this has been entertaining. Like I said, no money is going to be made on this one, so please either join and give me some money monthly. I don't like asking, but here we are. It helps buy more copies of this, or more picks for playing guitar and guitar strings. Or go and watch one of my other videos, one of my other reviews, which have adverts on. I know you don't like adverts, but hey, you've got to pay the bills. That's the way of the world. They don't send. They're not. It's not like other channels, lesser channels with more subscribers and more viewers. Those losers. I'm a niche. I'm a cult. I think that's what they call me. I know it begins with a C and has a U in it and a T. I think it's cult. So please, like I say, do watch a video with an advert because it helps keep things moving along. And hopefully you've enjoyed this. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comments box. Please keep it pleasant. Don't slag me off for my opinions, because then I won't slag you off for yours. That's how it works. And if this has been useful, if you liked it, maybe we could do something else. Again, I don't mind doing these if you support me, if you know what I mean. I don't like to ask, but you have to ask when it comes to this, because Oh God, these bands can get very, 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 very weird about their copyright, especially when you're trying to show people what's the best. Now I could have sat here and just showed you the waveforms, and you could have taken my word for it. But I'm trying to show you using the audio. That's all I'm trying to do. And again, we're not even touching on the differences between the streaming services, and there is a big vary. It's very varied between how it sounds on Spotify to YouTube Music to Tidal to iTunes. Don't even go there. But this is it in its purest form. CD. You know, we could do this with vinyl as well and go down that rabbit hole. But we're not going to do that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Leave your comments and your thoughts below. Give us a thumbs up and a subscription, and share it far and wide. Say, hey, I know you don't like him, but give Darren another chance. He's not that bad. All right? And thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say, and by now you should know what that is, and that is prog on.